Hey guys, what's up and welcome to a new Tesla update video. So today, as usual, let's go over the market. Let's talk about what has happened so far. Tesla officially has broken 200, so we'll talk about what this means. Can we go much higher? Is this the top? Is it finally time to, crash essentially? Let's go over all of that, but as usual, if you enjoyed the video, don't forget to hit that like button. It does help a lot. And also, of course, as usual, none of this is financial advice. Make your own decisions and do your own research. So all that being said and done, ladies and gentlemen, Tesla, or rather the market is closing in just a couple of minutes. Tesla is going to be closing, it seems like, above $200, which is, pretty good. Putting us around $201, which is up about 2.2% roughly, which isn't like a crazy amount, but the fact that it happened on a fairly red day in the market, like QQQ being down almost 2% and Tesla up just over 2%, obviously is pretty damn good. And on top of that, it officially has closed above 200, broke and closed, which is a good start. Now, of course, with that being said, you have to be careful here because it's not a very convincing close above 200, right? Mainly because it's pretty much at 201, which is really not much higher than 200. So, keep that in mind. And on top of that, you have to keep in mind that it is happening on very elevated, on a very elevated run. I know bulls are just people that just think Tesla goes to 400 for no reason at all are just gonna get upset and cry about it in the chat and in the comments rather below. But you have to keep that in mind, right? Similar to how when Tesla completely fell straight down and that was abnormal, which it was. Going straight up is just as abnormal, right? This isn't a very healthy move to continue extending like this. It will fall, and I do think when it does fall, it will be quite aggressive and quite fast. Just keep that in mind. Just a warning. Whenever it happens, it will. It's just a matter of when, not if. Just, FYI, just keep that in mind. But all that being said, the main question, of course, is the fact that we finally closed and went above and closed above 200. Can we actually go higher, right? Is this it, or are we, do we have room a little bit higher? Well, specifically because we did close above 200, and again, like I said, not the most convincing close above 200, but nonetheless a closure above 200. I do believe that there is absolutely a possibility to go a little bit more, a little bit higher. Honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if we go up to about 210. Honestly, 210 is my first price target, and the first level I'll personally be watching for. Right? I don't know if I want to put it like this. This is the part where I kind of get it's like, how do you want to do it, like this, or do you want to put it like this? I feel like this makes more sense. But anyways, so 210 is my, main price target for now, at least. And then if we break above 210, then the next level will be pretty much 220. In all honesty, I do think 220 will be the next level after that. But I'll be surprised if it goes much higher than 220. So just keep that in mind, ladies and gentlemen. That is, very important to understand that, this ascending wedge that we have here, which we did have over here as well. This is the one that we were playing out right here. The fact that we broke above this and went up this much higher is impressive in itself. And for that to happen again would be not impossible, but I must admit that would be, man, that would truly be something else. That would be just crazy stuff if that actually happens. You know what, Tesla, you never really know sometimes, truly. I highly, highly, highly doubt that'll happen again. But with that being said, I do, think that there's a decent chance that we essentially bounce within this channel one more time. So, we kind of zigzagging like this. Wouldn't be surprised if we come up somewhere around this level one more time, which is around, as high as 220 in my opinion, before ultimately making our way back down somewhere around this overall level, at least down here, in my opinion, around the 150s. That is currently what I am foreseeing. Now, it'll be easier to determine. Like, I know people have, want me to give them like price targets or whatever, where I think it'll, draw down to, which again, it will, just a matter of when, not if. But it's hard to determine that right this very moment until we actually see the top, because it really depends on where Tesla rallies to and finally gets rejected at like actual rejection, to where it starts to downtrend, back to kind of, have this rally, I guess, almost chill, if you will, you know what I mean? So that's going to be a healthy little mini correction of this rally, which is completely normal. It's nothing to be worried about. And even if that happens, I do still believe Tesla is still in an overall uptrend after this rally. On top of that, also you have to keep in mind that Tesla, because it broke above 200, it's very important to see how it opens tomorrow, by the way, because if Tesla opens under 200 tomorrow, that's actually going to be very, very bad, unless they can recapture it like pretty much on open very quickly and start holding it again. But if it opens tomorrow's like trading day essentially below 200, that's going to be not great. So just keep that in mind, right? So in case you're curious how much of a percent it needs to drop in order to be below 200, something you want to definitely, in my opinion, keep an eye on, if I were you at least, would be pretty much anywhere about for whatever reason, if it goes down about, almost 1% somehow post-market, which, I don't think will happen, but you never know sometimes, right? That's something to be concerned about. But unless that happens, I do think that there is a decent chance that we do rally up one more time to at least 210, if not as high as maybe even 220. So keep that in mind, ladies and gentlemen. But however, with that being said, you can see as we're making higher highs and as essentially the stock, let me remove this 100-day moving average for now, right? And essentially, as the stock is from here, let's say, for instance, making its way all the way straight up like this, the RSI is doing the complete opposite, making its way straight down, right? That, of course, like I said several times, and I'll keep mentioning it until it plays out, is, of course, a bearish divergence, right? This doesn't mean that it has to play out right now, but it does mean the fact that, that we are definitely approaching a top relatively soon, right? And like I said, 220, in my opinion, I would be surprised if it goes much higher than that, considering where we are right now. And that is going to be another move of about almost 10%, which is actually quite phenomenal. But, definitely a chance that, about 4 to 5% is all we have left as well. So I want you guys to fully, truly understand that. I remember back when, I want to show you guys an example. I still remember very, very well when this rally happened. And we were like all the way up in the 300s. I was saying the exact same thing, and everyone, obviously all the Tesla bulls that are is so blinded by everything that can't accept, just how stocks move. It's completely normal, completely natural. We're just very upset that I kept saying that it's going to crash from here. And I kept saying it's going to crash. Now, granted, I did say it too early, and that happens to be something I keep doing. I'm always too early on my calls. I'm almost always right. I'm just always too early by like a few weeks or something like that. And this was the exact same thing, right? It's exactly the same thing happened here. We went up to 300s. I kept saying that it's going to crash. People were very upset about that. And obviously we did, right? Now, I don't think it'll be this level of a crash straight down. It might. I don't think so, though. But I do believe that it will happen, something similar in a sense, that'll take us back to, the mid-ish to maybe even potentially as low as the low 100s, right? I do think that will happen. So just FYI, keep that in mind. Take it as you will. Maybe it won't. No one knows for sure. But the daily on the RSI looks pretty decent, other than the fact that it is extremely overbought. However, it's not looking like it's setting up any bearish divergences or anything yet on the daily, which is not too shabby. However, with that being said, I do believe that the 1 hour, like I said, is absolutely setting that up. The 3 hour, of course, even this is like a much easier example to look at, actually, right? Look at the 3 hour, for instance, right? You can see exactly what I'm talking about, how the stock is making its way, just completely rocketing up, while the RSI is just not following it anymore whatsoever. It's just constantly, slowly kind of treading downwards, right? Or trending rather downwards. That's just, something to keep in mind, of course. Now, moving over back to the daily, you can see the Bollinger Band. We are essentially approaching the top part of the Bollinger Band, which is pretty much chilling around the 210 level right now. So just keep that in mind, right? We are getting relatively close to that. We're still above the 21 EMA. We're still above the 5 and the 10 moving average, though the 5 is right below us. We're just barely keeping up above it. You can see right here. So once we lose this, that could be the first start that, Tesla's ready to finally make its little correction from this absolutely phenomenal rally from the lows, though. That's a unbelievable rally, pretty much 100% rally from the lows, which is just phenomenal. We're above the 100-day moving average, right? We did bounce off of it. Now we are above it, which is pretty good to see, which is why, this kind of momentum that I'm seeing here right now is leading me to believe that, especially above 200, we are opening up the possibilities of going up to 210, maybe even as high as 220. And there is a little bit potentially more steam left in this little engine or battery or whatever you want to call it. However, with that being said, regardless of what happens here, guys, I do want to make it very clear, I am overall more, it's like I'm extremely short term, I'm more bullish than bearish, but anything past that, I'm definitely more bearish than bullish as of right now, mainly because also on top of that, if you just look at the chart, for just first and foremost, like, when you see something crashing this hard, obviously it is going to have an absolutely massive rally. And I did talk about that before when we were crashing. I'm like, whenever it does bottom out and, reverses, it's going to be pretty severe. And the same thing can apply here, right? When you have such a severe rally, when it finally does reverse, it usually more often than not does reverse back down as well, fairly aggressively. So just, just be careful. That's all I'm going to say. Again, it's your guys' money. If you don't want to listen, if you don't want to, whatever, it's complete. Doesn't matter to me. Just giving you guys my personal thoughts, which could be absolutely completely wrong, but that is kind of what I'm seeing, right? Top of that, taking a very quick look at the VIX, you can see it is arguably breaking out right now, right? Which isn't great for the market. It's not, again, similar to Tesla's close above 200 or 201. This also isn't like the most convincing breakout in the entire world. Like, it's technically breaking out, but it's just not that convincing. Definitely want to see some more follow through on the VIX as well, which could give the market a little bit more room to rally, and which could give Tesla that little bit of extra room to rally to like maybe 210 as the VIX potentially does potential retest of something like this before making its rally. So in my opinion, right here, when the VIX does this potential retest, is where Tesla gets that like 210-ish, let's say, mark hits. And then as the VIX rockets, I think that's when Tesla and the market itself will finally, retreat back down from this absolutely phenomenal rally just the market in general, including Tesla, have been having. So just keep that in mind, ladies and gentlemen. But that is kind of the gist of what I'm seeing. So let me know what you think down below. If you enjoyed the video, don't forget to hit that like button. Again, I know people will be upset, but it is what it is. So we'll see what happens and where that takes us. The fact that we did break above 200 is a great sign. However, in my opinion, for a true confirmation that this bearish reversal has ended, or sorry, that this bearish reversal, the fact that confirmation that we are potentially not in a bear market for Tesla anymore would be essentially a break above like 230. If we ever break 230 somehow, especially somehow during this rally, which again, technically possible, you never know with Tesla, that would be very, very bullish in terms of overall structure. However, up until then, we'll see, of course, what actually happens. But a break above 200 is a damn good start. I'll tell you that right now. So that's a good sign, and that to me tells me that you can absolutely make arguments that the bottom is in, and that's obviously a good thing for bulls. So we'll see. But as of right now, ladies and gentlemen, I definitely think very, very short term, there is absolutely still potential steam left to go a little bit higher, 210, maybe as high as 220. But ultimately, I am expecting the correction to begin relatively soon, maybe even next week during CPI, which is, I believe, Tuesday or Thursday, or Tuesday or Wednesday next week. So just keep that in mind. Very important date. All that being said, though, thank you so much for watching. See you guys for the next one. Peace.